Defamation K. If you ever heard, there's this new app called the T app, basically a app that was made for people to basically, well, girls essentially, and we're talking about most of these women are, in their 30s, midlife aged women, and all of them effectively were doxxed because the information in the app gave away a lot of credentials. Okay. And these women were basically using this app to gossip. It's called the T app. So you should expect people to be gossiping. I mean, at that point, what do you expect on that app? But obviously a good thing turned bad, because what eventually ended up happening, which, how do you not even think this is going to happen? It's so obviously going to happen, is that the app, which started out innocent, it was supposed to be like, okay, we're going to give off information about people that we know, right? It can kind of be like an abuser detector app almost, but it didn't get used for that, because who uses things to the actual utility without abusing them? And that's effectively what happened. Unfortunately, though, all the information from them was hacked by a 4chan user. So this 4chan user goes in and says, dude, the security on this app is laughably funny. And this was #1 in the App Store. How is that possible? I guess it is. Now, this is good publicity for that, because a lot of people try to download it. But when you look at it, just sort of surface level, it doesn't really make sense based on how studious you are. Because what ends up happening is the men were like, well, this is sort of defamatory, or at least in some eyes, just weird. So could you imagine if it was the roles reverse and a bunch of guys were doing this and gossiping and talking shit, and basically I feel like it will be a totally different headline. But basically that's what happened. And the funny part is that all of them looked not that great. So we're gonna look at some of them and go through a couple of responses. Okay, first let's look at this. Okay, it says 4chan is a cesspool. Not all of them are obese, flat-footed mouth breathers with a chronic receding hairline and a death grip syndrome. But I guarantee you a good chunk of them are, and who couldn't for the life of them and just not be the most unattractive, unproductive, worthless waste of space the internet has to offer. Oh no. What's someone gonna do? Find me IRL? I had an ex-friend already threatened to dox me to a rape sub. Okay. Tell my family that I made an account on the website to help other women avoid abusive men. Dear God, they'd be pissed. Say my identity. Here's $1,000 I have in grants of medical debt that will not probably affect my credit. Enjoy it. Men that want women to live in fear are not the bane of my existence. They're like flies. That is funny. So I guess this is one of the people who got exposed. Over here though, it says they're so mad that the preachers got posted without the permission because they used the T app, where you're supposed to post preachers without the permission, slander them. So they got exposed because, all right, they got what they deserve basically. Because the app itself is nefarious. Even though it's supposed to be like a sort of a detector, right? Like around your area. I'm assuming this goes by the area more so. Because I mean, why would it? Some person from here is not going to know some person from here. I mean, maybe, but I guess if it's all internet culture. But look at some of these people, okay? So, okay, I'm not the most judgmental, but I mean, when we're looking at these options here, I think we can all come to the assumption that this is just a group of like, witches, right? And they're at that point, they're at that state of age where unfortunately time has passed them on. They probably talk shit about men, or at least probably just don't like men in general because of just not being traditionally beautiful. And I think that instead of phoning it in, they've kind of wasted time. I think I'm going to do a whole new video. I really want to do it, but I want to make sure I get all my bullet points right. But each one of these people, they waste so much time to where when it comes to getting into a relationship, it's basically never going to happen. Not even just based on the fact that they're, not that attractive, but attraction matters, definitely. But it sometimes can be obfuscated, right? There's somebody for everybody, okay? But some of them have to kind of phone it in, unfortunately, because times got up, they haven't tried to at least take care of themselves, right? Surface level. And it shows, right? The body shows how someone takes care of themselves, right? Your body's reaction to things is how you take care of yourself. And so they're just like these naggy Karens who kind of are like stank faced a little bit, right? And a huge reason is because they've kind of developed this resentment from lack of discipline, you know, show and tell, and haven't really put in the effort effectively for themselves. So like, because you look at them and I mean, they're just, look at this, like I'm staring at this woman, right? And I'm just like, okay, like I can understand why these are the people on the app. This is the marketed audience. Look at this. You know, it's a lot of them. You know, like, this girl looks okay, I guess. But a lot of them are like, you know, like, look at this shit. Look, okay. People, there's just like, how I see it is like, it doesn't really matter that they look like that. Cause like, some people just got bad RNG, and also just there's just going to be people who are ugly. Like regardless, there's just going to be ugly people. And people, when they see ugly people, I think what worsens the problem is some people think like because they're ugly that they'll never be able to be unugly. And for some people that is the case, okay, but they're good, they can deal with it. But you can use different ways to become an attractive person. It just when that detriment sets in of like you're ugly and then like you feel bad about being ugly, so then you become even more ugly. Basically, I think that's kind of what happens. And so it just worsens the problem. But you know, to fix it, you kind of just have to face, okay, this is a thing, and to fix it, we're gonna have to use a couple things, whether that's finances or work ethic, to try to fix as much as we can. And instead, obviously, most people, right, and that's just most of nature, they take the lazy route. You take the lazy route. Most people are lazy because most of nature is lazy. Most of nature sits around doing nothing all day. You think about it. And so that's how you end up on an app like this, right? So there was another app that was created, I believe, or sorry, there was kind of another app, but it was a joke about, it was called like something about, I don't even want to say it, but it was another joke. It was basically the men's version, okay? But looking at this, there's a men's version of the identification in which it was leaked. And the men who try to get on the site, this is what they look like. Okay, and then on the other side, this is what the girls look like with the data. There's some pretty girls here, okay. Those pretty. Yeah, I mean, there's some decent ones looking here, but there's a lot of over the top high cortisol faces, okay, let's say that. And so that obviously is damn, that motherfucker low. So here's a tweet. It says LMAO, the T app, which is meant for women to dox and rape men about their date and who they go on dates with, had been hacked, right? This is an evil app meant to destroy men's lives. These women are all co-conspirators. I didn't know it was meant to like dox them, and I thought it was just to talk about them, right? Because they market it towards, the marketing is like, it's not about, I mean, it's kind of a doxing, but it's more so about letting people know about the abusers or like what's wrong with the men. But when you look at it, it's really about, you know, destroying their lives. So it's just sad. I don't understand why somebody would participate in it, but some people, you know, they don't have many options in life. I mean, obviously, if you attend that app, there can't be too much. And a lot of times, bro, when it comes down to dating, it really do be, and I've had to face this. A lot of people have to face this. The truth is that getting in a relationship never really is about getting in a relationship, like just like getting in one. It's about becoming someone to be in a relationship with. Like you have to become a desirable partner, more so than that's like most people's problems. When you really think about it, if they look like that on that app, most people's problems is like they haven't done the inner work, at least, of like self-reflection, and then, you know, things go wrong, whether that's because it's not always just face, right? It's not always just looks that can, you know, weight and stuff like that can portray, but it's more so like mental things, right? Most relationships is like a mental bond between you two, most of the stuff, right? So it's like, if you've done the inner work of like picking up where that person leaves off, you know, clear communication, stuff like that, when you're bad at that stuff. And some people, you know, just have disorders or something like that, or they just, you know, they literally can't, you know, it's harder, right? And they meet notifications. So it's not like you can just blame everyone for it, but a lot of stuff like this, if you get on the T app, some of that stuff is bad. Now I'm not gonna say that all men are innocent, right? There's obviously bad people and common few, but if all of them are if the problem is resided, all of them are like complaining, it can't be all of them. That's just impossible for it to be all of them. There has to be some copium going on, cope, and they're basically using this as like a gossip app just to like get their get back of whatever may have been occurred. Now I don't know who's dating some of them, but do as you please. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, there's somebody for everybody, but you know, it's some of them a little. It's like, wow, really? How did you get in a relationship? You know, respectfully though, respectfully. I just find it hilarious that they even went out of their way to do this. Who made the app? I wonder who's the guys of this app, the company. Because honestly, it's honestly helping. Like a lot of people try to get on this app and download it. I'm not downloading it, but if you want to download it, go ahead. That's basically it. I mean, it's just an app. It's just a like another data leak. Those are very common, but this one was obviously a lot more prominent because of the contributions that it had to these men's lives individualistically. So with that being said, Team HNK, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you when you're older. Bye bye.